For me, it's about moments now. And so as a coaching staff, when you look out and see the product, the performance on the field that we've seen that our ideas are getting across. A lot of very good things, a lot of positive things. The game feels more stable. We're giving up less chances against very, very dangerous teams in Atlanta and Toronto. And so those are positives. Now it's about cleaning up the moments, right? So the beginning of the Atlanta game, we don't open up the right way. We're allowing too many transitions because we're not good enough with the ball at the beginning of that game, and so that was an area we wanted to really clean up for the Toronto game. We wanted more control of the game. Then we go to the Toronto game and we have a lot more control of the game. I would say that we have to be one of the very few opponents that's going to go into Toronto and have more possession than they do in their stadium. And so we've controlled the game better now, and now we just have a couple of really dodgy mistakes late in the game, individual mistakes. But also a little bit of collective ideas about not allowing individual mistakes. How do we help each other better? So it's the details now, I really feel like. And I think once we put those details together and marry them with the performance that we're seeing at 90% of those matches, I expect real positive results here in the very near future. Yeah, absolutely. Just really feel, and it's odd because we've lost 2 games in a row, which, makes us all very sick to the stomach. But I do feel like we're heading in a very positive direction, and I think now, as I said, we marry a performance with the result, and I think we can go on another tear like we did a few weeks back. Absolutely, it feels the mood around here feels the exact same. I do think there's a little sense of urgency right now about trying to make sure that this weekend we get all 3 points and we don't go on any type of slide. And for me, I feel the energy feels right, the confidence level feels right. The togetherness, the commitment, everything in the training sessions the last 2 days feels like we're headed in a real positive direction. It does for sure, because, like it or not, last year, after all those wins that we put together at the very beginning of the season, I was still kind of scratching my head a little bit saying, I think we're a lot more fortunate than probably we deserve to be. And this year I feel like we earned all those 6 wins in a row, and we didn't get something out of luck or chance. We got them because we were the better team in the games. And I would say that these past 2 performances, I think I can make arguments that we should have walked out with more points in both of those games than we got. So again, everything feels like we're moving in the right direction. Chris is a fantastic professional, fantastic communicator, an organizer in the back. And we saw that, he stepped into his very first game with us, I thought, and had a real solid performance against Real Salt Lake, and we walked out with all 3 points. And I think he was a big contributor in that game. So if he gets his opportunity this weekend, I would expect nothing but the same. Yeah, I think it's you made a really good identification, because we go into this game and we say this is an opponent that's feeling exactly like we are right now. They're going to have some real urgency about their situation. They lost the last 2 in a row. And so I know that they've had some rumblings about disappointments in the locker room and disappointments in performances. So we expect an emotional team to come at us on Saturday. For us, it's been a big focus of ours to be more stable in the games in the beginning, to be more on top of things in the beginning of the matches. And I don't think, I still think that's an area, barring I think Toronto and one other match this year, we've allowed goals in first halves of most of them, so it's an area that we know needs improvement. And even more than that, we need to score the first goal in some matches. Yeah, no, at halftime I talked to him because I knew that he was really struggling. It was obvious from some of the touches that he had, but obvious from his body language too that he was really down on himself. And my experience tells me that you have to rebound back from those situations. Every player in the world has bad games. Every single one has bad performances. It's the best players in the world that move on from that extremely quickly. And so that's what I told him, and that's why God made soccer with 2 halves. There was an opportunity for him to do better in the second half, and I actually think he did do a little better in the second half. Had some positive touches, and he had some positive moments this week already in training. Yeah, absolutely. I think every player again has strengths and weaknesses, and every player should show a desire to work on the weaknesses, and that's what Stéfano wanted to work on today. Was a little bit of his hold-up play, but the other thing is that we don't need Stéfano to be Dom. We need Stéfano to be Stéfano. he doesn't have to do all the same things that Dom does. He can do some things differently and perhaps maybe a little bit better. I think for me it's just about, again, about moving past performances. If there's a little bit of a disruption in level of your performance, you need to move forward and know the player that you are and the player that you have been for very many years. There's no fluke that Justin Meram is effective as he is in this league. He didn't do it just by 1 year or half a year. So we're doing just everything we can to bring him up, to lift him up, to get him to reach his potential, and we believe that he's moving in a very positive direction. Again, another guy that I think, apart from the goals, had some really positive moments in a lot of the games lately. Lamine took a little bit of a knock yesterday, trained inside today. We have no hesitation. We believe that he'll be fit and ready for this weekend. Dom is also doing some training on the inside, and we're hopeful that he'll be ready for this weekend as well. No, of course. I feel like I've experienced a lot of it, and, especially over the past couple of years. I think that this is the first year where I can actually say with confidence that it's okay. We have somebody go down, it's okay. We got somebody that can step in and do the job. I really feel strongly about that this year. Now, it's not a perfect situation because you would, in an ideal situation, want to have a back four that stays together and plays together for very many games, but performances, scores, results, and injuries and suspensions all get in the way. Yeah, no, it's important. It's important because I feel like Cristian's been really, really good for us. This Toronto game may have been his best, actually. Unfortunate that we couldn't get the 3 points to marry that performance with the team's performance, but he's an important player. But again, he goes out. We got other guys that are more than capable and more than ready to step in.